Recent news has been dominated by Mnangagwa's threats to crush dissent. As the Southern African Development Community or SADC summit approaches, tensions are running high. The summit is set to review reports that reject Mnangagwa's controversial election victory. And what's his response? To tighten his grip even further, of course. Just this past week, former Minister Jameson Timba and 78 others have been detained. Their crime? Daring to speak out against the government. This isn't an isolated incident either. Over the years, there have been numerous reports of activists, opposition leaders, and even ordinary citizens facing persecution for standing up for their rights. Amnesty International has repeatedly highlighted these abuses. From abductions to beatings, the stories are harrowing. Mnangagwa's government seems determined to silence any form of dissent, and it's not just the activists who are feeling the heat. Even their relatives are being targeted, creating a climate of fear and intimidation. Mnangagwa's rhetoric hasn't helped either. He talks about flushing out opponents and dealing with rogue elements. But what does that really mean? It means more crackdowns, more arrests, and more human rights violations. The international community has been watching closely. Images of security forces beating civilians have sparked global outrage, and yet, Mnangagwa remains defiant, blaming the country's woes on external factors like Western sanctions and currency manipulation. But let's be real, the root of the problem lies within the government's own actions. Zimbabwe's economy is in freefall. Corruption is rampant, and the people are suffering. And instead of addressing these issues, the government is focused on maintaining its grip on power at any cost. Amnesty International has been calling for action. They've urged Zimbabwe to uphold its 2013 constitution and adhere to international human rights obligations. Regional bodies like the African Union and SADC also have a role to play. They need to put pressure on Mnangagwa's regime to respect human rights and allow for genuine political opposition. The situation is dire, but it's not hopeless. Change can happen, but it requires sustained international pressure and support for the brave individuals standing up against tyranny. Stay informed, spread the word, and support organizations that are fighting for justice in Zimbabwe. Every voice counts in the fight for human rights. Thanks for tuning in, and remember to like, share, and subscribe to Zim News Live YTS, so you don't miss any updates.